lot of times this year you guys are on the other end of some critical game-deciding plays. How does it feel being on the right side of almost every one of those?
Yeah, you got to make your own breaks, and feels good. To answer your question, it's much better than the alternative.
Justin, in 7 years as Cal's head coach, you've had some big wins, some games in which your team has played all three phases pretty well. But I'd be hard pressed to think of a game in which all three phases played as well with as much at stake and against a team like UCLA. Fair?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if I can compare and contrast, some of those other games, but what I do know is the guys played with guts and they competed, and I just got so much respect for the guys in that locker room, the players and the coaches, finishing the season the way that we have, and you have a lot of pride in seeing those guys enjoy that moment because they put so much into it. And it was a month ago; it was tough sledding. Now, a lot of positivity around the program, so really, really proud of everybody in there.
Oh, I guess a follow up to that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, after the Oregon game, there wasn't a whole lot of positivity around the California Golden Bears. How were you able to turn that around and win 3 of them?
Oh, I think it just speaks to the character of the guys in the room. Again, the players first and foremost, because there's a lot of, in times like that when things aren't going well, come off a really bad loss. I mean, it's human nature for a lot of folks to seek shelter in the storm. And, I didn't see anybody doing that. They came in and we met and we did walkthroughs, and the mental intensity was there, the physical intensity was there. We continued to coach them and hold them accountable and work on the things that we felt like we needed to improve in order to win. And they took that, and it wasn't finger pointing, and it wasn't woe is me, and the guys just played through it. And, it's simple in concept, but it's pretty hard to do sometimes. And so that's why I got so much respect for all those guys, just because they didn't seek shelter. They looked in the mirror, each and every one of them, and said, okay, what do I got to do to help us win? And we found a way to do that to finish out the season.
We'll go to Mia next.
Who stood out to you tonight?
Oh, man. I mean, there's been a lot of people. There's just, start with the defense, giving up just a touchdown. They did have a missed field goal. We gave up a touchdown on a short field. And other than that, I don't know. We sacked the quarterback quite a bit, I think. Affected the quarterback at least. Took the ball away. Dave Reese, I think, had another big day. Xavier Carlton, Cade, 4th down stop, interception, special teams, the kickoff return unit. Everybody, Jaden's an electric player. We know that. Jaden, pretty obvious what he did on the KOR. It's really impressive. But the guys making the blocks were really good. The kickoff team, Hunter Barth causing a fumble, Michael Lucker's getting on it. The field goal kicker, was really good. The punter was really good. Offensively, Jeremiah, Fernando bouncing back from a couple mistakes. Jaden, the run game, it's a really, really good run defense. Elite front, maybe the best defensive player in college football, and they ought to. But they kept grinding it out, and then the drive to finish late in the game. I don't know how many minutes it was. It was 7 or 8 minutes late in the game. So there wasn't one person. It was a team effort through and through.
Right.
What was the energy in the locker room, and what was the message to the guys?
Oh man, feels really good, and I want them to just soak that up. I want them to enjoy that and be with their brothers. And there's nothing like that. And that's why I think a lot of us coach, because you can't find that anywhere else. That feeling, and as hard and as gut wrenching, agonizing as losing is. On the other end of the spectrum, there's just no feeling like that, especially under the circumstances and what was at stake and the way that the guys finished the season. So it was a lot of great energy, a lot of hugs, and I'm just really proud of those guys, man. Just got a lot of love for the people in that room. It's an impressive group.
Steve?
Listen, I know the last few weeks, I and a lot of other people have been asking you kind of how this affects the last season of Pac-12 regular season football. Well, now regular season football is over, and the California Golden Bears are going to be the last team to have won a Pac-12 regular season game. How does that hit you?
I think this should fall into that category of the meeting we're going to have after the season where we can talk through, the end of the Pac-12 for now. I didn't pick the time of the game, to be honest with you. I would have been fine. I think the team too, if we would have kicked off at, 10 or 11 or noon or 3 or whatever. But they put it at 7:30, and we're glad to play at 7:30 as well. And so, maybe someday I can put a little more thought into answering that with, something worthy. But right now, I'm just really happy for our team and the Old Blues and everybody out in the Cal community.
Yeah, just saw sports information. This was Jaden's first kick return. Just what was the thought of at that time? Putting him back there to run that?
Well, we know he's an explosive player. He's shown that in a game like this, where we thought maybe there would be fewer possessions potentially, and also, their the strength of their run defense and some of the style of play. We just wanted to find different ways to get him the ball, and so that's a good start. And he's an explosive guy, and I give a lot of credit to our special teams staff as well, getting that thing schemed up. And then the guys on the return unit, you have to believe in it, and you have to go get your block and keep them covered up. And then when you got a guy back there that can do that, the grease board carrying over to the field looks pretty good.
How many times did you practice that with him, or did you practice?
He's practiced back there before, but traditionally he gets, like last week, he got 38 or 40 touches during the game, and we didn't know if we would have those same opportunities today. And so we wanted to find maybe another spark on how to create an explosive, and that was the thought process going into the week.
Sure. David Reese had 3 sacks. I think he had 3 against Washington State too. That's a lot of production late in the year. Has the light just come on for him, or is he healthier than he was before?
Probably a combination of things, but David's got some quick twitch. I remember early in the season, I think I've said this before, he had a rush against Auburn on like a second down and beat the tackle, just beat the guy and sacked the quarterback. And I remember thinking, well, that was a flash. And he battled through some things, and the season kind of, for whatever the reasons were, we weren't quite as productive there, getting to the quarterback. But the last month, I mean, he had 3 tonight, 3 against Wazoo, and I don't know if he had 1 or 2, and probably could have had another couple. He and I talked about it this week, that he could be that guy, to get 3, and it was great to see him come out and do it. That was impressive. And the game-changing play, again, he stripped, sacked, and caused a fumble, and we got a touchdown out of it.
Anybody else in the room? Emmanuel?
Yeah, Coach, got the win tonight, but what do the next 2 weeks look like for this team?
Yeah, we're going to fly home, and we're going to get healthy. We're going to study real hard for our finals that are coming. I'm not. They are. They're going to study real hard for their finals coming up, and we got a lot of really good students. And then we'll get our bowl situation squared away, and then get healthy, and then put our time in and go to work on our opponent in the bowl game. But there'll be a lot to do, but we're glad to be busy.
Anybody else in the room? Okay, we've got Jeff Ferrano on Zoom. Go ahead, Jeff.
Justin, your defense struggled so much for much of this season. You had 4 games, you allowed 50 points, and yet tonight they did everything you needed them to do. Can you talk about just how they stayed together, how they didn't give up on themselves, and how they turned things around to this degree?
Yeah, well, they did a heck of a job tonight. We saw that, the run game. UCLA's got a really good run scheme. We got to the quarterback. The difference between playing really well and not well at all statistically is usually pretty small. There's going to be small little things that show up, and we never felt like that we just needed to remake everything. We just had to do the little things better more often. And some of those games, whether it was a leverage in coverage or a missed tackle, or maybe we weren't getting to the quarterback well enough, maybe some of it was field position. We're playing on short fields, and so there's a lot that goes into that. But in the margins between playing really well and not well is very, very small at this level. And so continuing to improve and again, never giving up on it and staying consistent in their approach to the games. That to me is what led them down the road and allowed us to play to that level tonight. So again, really proud of the staff too, because those guys kept those guys going and kept coaching them, and it was never we would be critical of them, but never demeaning, and they take that coaching and put it to use.
Can you talk about that game that Jake called offensively, and he really stuck with the run, and your offensive line made it work in the second half. You were able to hold on to the ball for long stretches.
Yeah, again, I go back to that drive late in the game. I don't know how many minutes, but it seemed like 7 or 8 running the ball. And we knew we'd have to stay with it. And we knew there was going to be some tough yards in there. Not everything was going to be perfect. You're playing against the best rush defense in the country, and for a reason. So we knew there'd be some things. But again, that whole group, Mike Blesh and Spav and Tim Plow and AT, putting together a really good plan, and the players going out and believing and executing it. That's what it takes. And so they stayed with it, and we found a way to be productive there.
Okay, we'll go to Thomas Dunn on Zoom, and we'll get wrapped up here shortly. Thomas, go ahead.
Justin, all the way back in September, we talked about the special teams and how much inward reflection they would need to have in order to get where they needed to be. Over the course of the season, where have you seen that development from the kickoff coverage units to the kicking unit as a whole, and how proud of you of the progress are you of them, of the progress that they've made?
Yeah, big time progress. I mean, you could look early in the year and we had issues. There's no doubt. The kicking game against Auburn wasn't great. Oregon State kickoff unit was not good. Our punter really came into his own about the 3rd or 4th week of the season. He started playing pretty dang well. So we were getting better there. Mateen getting a little more comfortable, playing at this level. And I don't know that we had played a real complete game on special teams up to this point, but this one was much, much better, obviously. So really proud of the group. And again, credit goes to the coaching staff. Vic Soto, Coach Tink, that whole group just keeping us prepared, and the players buying in. Like I said, it takes the players. The power is in the learner. And so you can sit up in front of the room and talk through kickoff and how we're going to score on KOR this week. And that's what a lot of the staffs do. But the power is with the players. They have to take that and believe in it, and they do. So really get proud of the whole unit.
And you described the team elation, especially in the locker room. Can you describe your personal in the moment elation, especially after getting set up by Jake Spavital for the Gatorade shower?
I think I take the most joy of just like watching the players and the people, and the look on their eye, and how they're feeling and their emotions. Like that brings energy to me. That's where I get the energy from, is seeing those other folks. So there's a lot of that right now.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, I think we're wrapped up here with
Recording